Oh, the webinar has started, huh? Some attendees here. Glenn is there.
Hello, Glenn. Hello, Musaf.
Guys, we're gonna start in 2 or 3 minutes, right? Like let people give the opportunity to join here. If you don't have it, like we're streaming this live too, just like we drop a link to this in the chat. So just come up here and discuss with us. There's some good stuff this today we're gonna share.
Absolutely.
So here, come on. Like let's make that official here, right?
Welcome, Brian. Welcome, Sadie. Nice having you with us as well. Welcome to Land Week. Hi.
Hello.
See who's coming here. Give it 2 more minutes and then we're gonna start this, huh? Steven, what do you think?
Yeah, I think we're good. Also on the previous ones, people when they join, they don't leave, so I guess they can pick up the pieces and we'll also share it, so there's nothing lost.
Absolutely. I love that. So let me just see how I do this. I do this like this, and then I'm gonna organize my screen here. Okay.
Hello, Mark. Nice to see you again.
Just make a little test here real quick. So can you see my screen like this? Wait, like let me just like make that a little bigger. So like this, is that good?
It's perfect now. Yeah, that's
Okay,
it.
perfect. Good. Okay. So we're gonna kick it off. Steven, what do you think?
Absolutely. Welcome to Land Week and our final webinar of this year. I see some familiar faces from last time or from Tuesday. Welcome back. Nice to see you all or hear from you, hopefully in the chat box during our presentation of the Land Autopilot program. Feel free to join in or raise your hand if you want to speak up or write in the chat box. We'll make sure to get to all of your questions uh, during the webinar, but as well as the last probably 15 minutes we'll devote specifically to a Q&A section. So, feel free to chime in anytime with your questions. We love those, and they actually help us elaborate on some of the points we will raise here a bit further. Um, First, to welcome Robin. Robin's been a great partner of mine in the last few months, standing up the collaboration between Land Pilot and Launch Leads, which is our launch control managed services for the texting and also the cold calling and direct mail. So, welcome, Robin. I guess uh, you can introduce yourself, but feel free to, give us a little bit of a backstory if you want.
I will. I will. Thank you, Stephen, for having me, and I'm really excited for this because I mean we kicked this off I think last year in August or September, and since then there has been significant success with the clients we put through this. And yeah, just a little background about me. My name is Robin Saib. I turned 40 this year. Can you believe it, Stephen? Like I turned
Oh
40
my
years
God.
old in two
No,
or
you
three
don't look
months, dude.
40 at all.
Thank you, right? I'm in land investing like for 6 years. I'm around 15 years at like different ventures. I'm born and raised in Germany. This is where my weird accent is from, right? Like, and I've always been in real estate or around real estate, ran a contracting company and different other businesses over there. And my last venture was really a fix and flip operation for houses. And we flipped in 2 years, roughly like 400, 450 houses. And I'm like, yeah, tired of that. I always say I'm a retired and still recovering house flipper, right? Because there was so much stuff going on. Got introduced into land in 2020. by one of the really famous coaches in this industry. Yeah, he just like came to Germany, had an event, and I said, that's cool. That's real estate. You can do it from a laptop. It's land that's reasonable. You have a lot of the factors I was seeing from a fix and flip perspective, like, contractors, termites, toilets and tenants is how you call that here probably in the land space, right? Like it's not there. I said, I want to do this. And we got it started out like right when COVID hit. So it was like pretty crazy doing it from Germany. We couldn't fly over here, open bank accounts and go to events and all of that because we're not allowed to legally enter the country. So I ran the business completely remote for the first 2 years. And yeah, I was always, I'm an adventurer and I love doing business in the US. So when you think it's this district restricted here, then you have never done business in Europe, like Stephen probably knows, right? It's a little bit different there. It's really restricted there, and I still feel sometimes like Alice in Wonderland, and having the opportunity to deal with amazing individuals here, like just the concepts of private money and all that. I mean, we've ever since done like roughly 1,400 deals, deployed over $20 million in capital into land deals, and got pretty well known in the land pilot for displaying properties because I never was like so much into the acquisition game. So I said like, let's buy packages, right? And so buying packages, you have a lot of inventory when you do start selling that. That's how we started supporting the land investing community. And out of that, especially with the shifting market in the last 3 years and the shifting environment in general, right? Like land investing is different these days than it has been. Um, like in the glory times, everyone is talking about 2021, 2022, 2023, where you could just like, get bad deals and still move them and make some money, right? We're not in that environment anymore. And, we have the rise of AI that's having a huge impact in our industry with, yeah, like a little shaky community for the first time, economy for the first time in 15 years, right? Like after 2008, like it went up for the next 10, 12, 13 years. And right now it's just like it feels a little shaky, like buyers feel that. So you just need to do different things, I feel, today, than you need 2, 3 years ago. And a lot of people are saying land doesn't work anymore. And I just always say, when you run your land business in 2026 with a 2020 a playbook, then you will not be successful anymore. I just really appreciate all the changes because the business has just matured, right? This is what it is. You can't just need to treat it as a business today and can't like treat it as a hobby anymore. But the great news is when you do that, right, and really think like a CEO, like an owner of a company over your company, there's still a lot of people making a killing out there, and just the hobbyists like will probably not be there anymore for a long time. So yeah, that's my take on that. A little bit of my background and how I think. Like, well, that was a lot, right?
But a pretty good intro, I would say. One question that comes to mind is like, how did you decide to make that switch from, doing hundreds and thousands of land deals per year to, actually realizing you want to build the autopilot system for investors?
That's a really good question. I mean, we still run our complete deal engine, right? And we're going to talk about that. Like you can still come to us and we doing land deals with you and for you, right? And I think in general in business you need to make the decision when you build a business. You want to do everything by yourself, right? Or you want to get in a more or less a little bit managed option. And both has like advantages and disadvantages, right? I always have the analogy of like when you want to found a restaurant, there's two ways of doing that, right? You can build a restaurant by yourself and get your recipes and all of that in place to express yourself, right? Or you can just buy a McDonald's, right? Which does the same thing. It feeds people, both of that, but just in two completely different way. And I think, depending where you are in life, it's like what I realize a lot of people in the land industry are not in the land industry because they have so much purpose for land, right? I haven't met anyone that just like, drives out to his piece of dirt and just like lays in the dirt and just like is happy about all the snakes and gators and whatever is there on that property, right? Most other people do this to make money, right? And we were always a company that helped land investors as a managed option on the disposition side. And I was then seeing in the last 2 years that people had struggled to align deals that are really working deals that were making money Um, and this is where we made the decision last year to really offer the opportunity to run a fully managed land operation, right? And really focus on little things that make you money and not all these things that are just noise, right? And yeah, we're going to talk about that, and I'm really excited. I've sold a lot of things in my life and done a lot of things and offered a lot of things, but the land autopilot is the thing that makes me excited every day still.
All right. Well, with that being said, I guess we could start with the presentation as well. Uh, we can maybe walk investors that are interested in who the program is really built for. Is it for brand new people? Is it for some people doing deals already? We can dive into, what part will be on the investor and what part is covered by you, so people see that difference, and also where launch leads comes into play. I didn't do an introduction of myself, but probably the community knows me. I'm Steven. I've been working with launch control for the last 5 years. Now with launch leads for the last two and something years. We had a managed program before, but most recently, I've been managing the operations team, so overseeing and coaching the texters that are handing off the leads to your clients. So just that brief introduction, I guess, would be necessary, but we'll dive into some of the specifics right away. Thank you,
I love it.
Robin.
I can just tell you, like interacting with you guys, launch control is such a professional operation, right? You have somebody in charge for everything, and I really love working with you guys because there's never something in the dark, right? And no matter if you want to do the autopilot or whatever, but like launch control is just like a really valuable and reliable partner. So yeah, I appreciate you for having me on here today because you do a really great job in everything you're doing over there.
Thank you very much. And I think the main part of it is also that we are aligned in our mindset, and that we also saw some of the things that you mentioned, like, a lot of the business operators trying to do it like it's 2020. We try to move them into 2026, try to show them what AI can do for them, not only AI, but everything else combined with that. So big support we feel from your end as well. So thank you for that. Appreciate you, Robin.
Absolutely. So well, let me pull up this presentation we built here together. And guys, before we kick that off, like really stay until the end, right? Because we will have something for you in the end that's like really a special offer. And let me just kick
And
that
we'll
off
stay for
here.
you as well. We will stay.
Yeah.
The last two webinars, I think we also went a bit overboard with all the questions. So, knock yourselves out. We'd be happy to address any.
And let's make one deal, people here, right? Listen to everything I say and ask your questions later, because this pitch deck is really around design that it answers all the questions I ever got, right? So note them down, and when you have specific question, let's do that in the end. We'll open it up for Q&A. But like I want to say hello and welcome to the Land Week powered by Launch Control, and we're going to talk about how to run your business on autopilot with the Land Pilot. And stay until the end. This is what I wanted to tell you, right? Because oh wait, what's this? Okay. Because we have a special offer here for you that we want to make you, but let me a little bit jump around. What is the land autopilot? You have heard that now a lot, like Stephen was mentioning that, but what it really is we build a cash flowing land business for you that's built, installed, and producing leads and deals for you within 10 days, right? It's a done for you system that really builds your pipeline, funds your deals, and turns land into a wealth building machine you own. Because I think everyone starting in this like was really originally starting to get out of something or to get somewhere, right? Like financially, right? Like one of the things here in the autopilot, you see that here is discover true freedom is like one of our headlines. And this is where I really strongly believe in. I live here in Dallas, but we also have a house in Spain. We are commuting between both spaces. And I truly believe everyone deserves to be in there, right? And everyone on this call probably knows that land investing works, right? But running a land operation, especially when you do it alone or with like one or two VAs, that's like where things break, right? This is what I realized after talking to hundreds of land investors in the past couple of years. And why is that? Because Land is like not a really complicated, but a pretty complex vehicle when you look at this. But when you really look, what is it? Let's talk. You need to do good market selection. You need to pull data. You need to skip trace data. You need to organize that. You need to do lead generation. You need to do lead intake. You need to run comps. You need to negotiate contracts. You need to do due diligence, right? You need to have marketing strategies and sales strategies and transactional coordination. You need to build systems and CRM and follow up and nurture and structure deals and pricing and due diligence and transaction coordination. It's just a lot of things that you need to do, right? And especially in 2026, like launch control stands for text messaging, but like, hey, we're in an age where we have more competition, right? I talked to a friend of mine, he's a big coach in the industry, and you probably know his name when I wanted to drop it. He's onboarding right now 120 to 150 clients a month, right? So that means we have more competition than ever. But I love that because when you have a lot of competition, you can just be better than them, right? They educate the seller what's bad in the industry and you can jump on them. But what I see happening in the land industry, and I don't know if that's a thing, how it gets taught or how advertisements are, right? Investors get intrigued by that because it seems so simple. But when you really look at this, it's like a complex, long process. And then when you try to do everything by yourself, you get stuck, right? And how do I mean that? Like talking to a bunch of you guys is when you work this entire process with all these different steps, right? Like a lot of people get somehow the data piece, right? They somehow get the lead generation rolling. They somehow get like, a deal under contract and they somehow start selling them. But what happens in that moment, they don't spend attention to the acquisition part of the company, of the business anymore, right? Because we really live from doing constant lead generation. And people are stucking in this like after a period of time and go silent. Maybe we have some people here in the audience that feel guilty of that, but that's what it is. And then when you focus on that, like suddenly you don't move your deals because you don't spend attention, and then you sit on deals, contracts are expiring, or you have like private money investors you need to pay, and you don't do that. A big, huge thing I see right now is offer uncertainty in our industry. People don't know what to offer. And we get like roughly between 20 and 50 deals submitted a week, and around 80 to 85% of them are overvalued and with too high offers under contract because it's just like not true what they think the property is worth in the current market environment. The market is slower, and the market also like had a decrease in pricing in a lot of areas, right? And that leads to capital shortfalls, right? Like because in the very end, like you need to pay for your company expenses, but you also need probably to pay for properties. Like wholesaling gets harder and harder in a slower environment. More informed sellers maybe don't want to be in a 6 months or 3 months or 4 months contract anymore. They want to have cash in their hands because you're probably the third or fourth person you go under contract with, right? And all of that, then you have some messy systems. You know what, Stephen, what the question is I get asked the most, like there's two of those, right? Like the first one is what's the golden market, right? The answer on that, it's not existing. It depends on what your goal is, right? The second one, and you get that question asked a lot too. I
Every
probably
day,
know that every
almost
day,
every
right?
day. Yeah.
Hey, where should I go to make the most amount of money? Dude, like, it totally depends, right? But the second thing is, it's what is the best CRM system? And
That too.
You know, a CRM system is as good as you make it. What a system always does, it takes a manual workflow and makes it more repeatable in less amount of time, right? So every system is as good as you make it and as much effort and experience you put in there, right? But when you don't have systems, what you hit is a scaling limit, right? Like you're just like really on there and don't know what it is. And then you have like a lot of people I talk to still have this flipper mindset, right? Because we just need to chase quick cash instead of really building a portfolio asset that produces us long-term wealth, right? We try to focus just on that next deal, right? I hear that a lot. Oh yeah, I need to close this deal out, then I can do this. Okay, but like, isn't that the wrong thinking? What is if this deal doesn't clown out, find out, right? And I want to raise a question. What if you could skip 6 years of system building and an investment of $1 million I did back in the business, trial and error? There was a lot of error, I can tell you, right? and start this whole business with a finished system, right? When you could suddenly work with a partner that has closed over 1,400 deals, that has comped over 30,000 properties, that has deployed over $20 million in capital, and has a 6 year AI powered operating system that you could have with CRM, AI agents, nurtures, and all of that is built out, right? What the land autopilot is not, it's not a course, right? Like, let's be pretty clear of that. And I come to that in 1 second. What it is, it's a system. And we install this whole system inside your LLC in 6 to 10 days. And then you start receiving leads and start doing deals, right? You're starting literally not at zero while working once. You're starting at year 6 that I've spent in this industry, right? And what I see a lot of, there's a lot of education, and I think education is great, right? Like, I'm in a bunch of masterminds, I'm in a bunch of like coachings, and so on. I have a personal coach for the business, I have a personal coach for myself, right? Like, but the difference between the autopilot and the coaching programs is, coaching programs really tell you how to do things, and maybe they give you a couple of resources like their CRM system, like their a couple of leads and all that, and say, hey, here's the route you go. But what you do is you go all the way by yourself. They give you a certain framework and expect you to fulfill the framework. And what we do at the autopilot is we give you the framework, fulfill it to most of the degree, right? And that you can run it and actually focus on that what's most valuable, right? We give you all the education around that and the community for free in that, right? Like, we run almost daily education calls and all that, and that's the biggest difference. I don't know of any competitor out there that does that in that extent, but we're the only ones doing that. But this is where I really want to do a clear cut here. We're not a coaching program. You buy a business. We install a business for you that's running in 10 days, right? And what do you get? What is it actually? Imagine, like, when you decide to work with us on the Land Autopilot, we do all the market selection for you. We give you the whole buy boxes. We curate all the data for you, do all the skip tracing, and then we install over 6 months like an omni-channel outreach. And that's mail, that's text messaging, that's call. The system handles all the inbound. We give you a complete AI-powered CRM system with all the nurture sequences built out and contract templates. And there's an AI agent that literally qualifies your leads and just like takes all the tire kickers out, right? Probably where, which we see out there, people that just send me an offer, right? Like that thing weeds that out so that you really talk to people that are highly qualified. We do the whole comping, underwriting, and due diligence work for you. We fund 100% of the deals through our capital network, and we do all the marketing, dispositions, and closing on these deals, right? And what we really do, the money you give us, like, instead of like hiring your whole team, we pay for all your lead generation and whatever. So everything you see, everything is paid. We're the only expense in your expense book. Your bookkeeper will be pretty happy about that. And when you hate bookkeeping, like, it's pretty simple because there's just like one line item, right? Now you ask me, what do I do when you do all of that stuff? It's super, super simple, right? The first job you'll have inside the autopilot is you answer the calls. And guess what, Steve? What do people not do? They don't answer calls. And this is how we make money, right? Like, they're so busy with organizing, oh, and I need to comp this and do this and do. No, everything other than answering the phone is just noise in our business, right? We make money by being on the phone negotiating deals. This is where the true leverage is. I always tell it like this or explain it like this. I can sell $100,000 property for $100,000. But it makes a huge difference if you can negotiate that for 80, 60, or $40,000. This is where you really make the money in the land business, right? And this is why we left that with our partners here, right? That work with us, because hey, you just want to be top notch at the phone. The second thing we require you to do is show up for our coaching calls and like our support system, right? And be willing to learn, because we just really teach you on the deals. I don't teach you high level how everything works. Like, you bring your deals and we discuss how do you get them under contract. And we do that like 3 to 4 times a week. You get a complete team that is handling that you have access to every day. Like, hey, I need to run like a number differently, or I see a subdivided potential or whatever, right? So what the land autopilot really does, the AI handles qualification and nurture, right? And the system handles everything from data to closing. And what you really do, you operate as a CEO and not as an operator in this, right? And the great thing is you will not be alone in this. The system comes with a full support engine, right? We have daily coaching calls, right, where you can pop in, where we talk about deals mostly. We have like one call a week where we just do sales and mindset coaching, right? Like it's two calls, Mondays and Wednesdays. It's a closed room for autopilot clients, and there's a one-on-one coaching component with me. Like, guess what I do there the most? I talk mindset with the people because that's the most limiting factor most of the times. And we also give you a complete private community of all these operators that do the same or doing deals. We have a complete school community. We have Slack channels and all that where you're never alone. You are not alone on this journey, and we are highly interested in your success. And you will get to that really. So, what I want to encourage you in the land autopilot, you stop being an operator, a hobbyist in this industry. What you really become is the CEO, right? You don't need to pull any lists or manage all these different tools and subscriptions and chase people and run your own marketing and handle admin, right? And just like apologize to your wife or husband again. Hey, I'm super sorry. I can't make it. I need to do this calls or run this comms. No. What do you do in the land autopilot? You check your pipeline over coffee in the morning, talk to these pre-qualified sellers who are ready, sign contracts, collect profits, and review your dashboard while you're out of the house, right? The system is running whether you're at your desk or not, right? And this is not a tactical shift, it's really like an identity shift that we bring you in here, right? And let me bring you a little bit on timeline, right? Your business is live in the next 6 to 10 days, and here's how it will move. Because we talk with you about a 6 months commitment, because we need 6 months in this industry. This is what Stephen and me like talk a lot about, right? It's like most of the people expect, oh, I do months of texting and get rich. No, it's not like this. What we really build is pipeline assets here, right? And they compound over time. And when we decide working together, we have the land autopilot system will be installed in the next 1 to 10 days. It depends on a little bit of like compliance things that need to be running, right? And then the lead generation starts, and you will receive your first leads between day 6 and 11, right? Normally, you get your first contract signed in the first 30 to 60 days, right? We're going to buy the first properties with you, and the first cash events where money comes back happens realistically in 3 to 6 months. Why? Because we're doing bigger deals. I come to that in a bit. But like over month 6, what you're really building is this amazing pipeline of deals we're purchasing together and selling together, where we realize hundreds of thousands of dollars of profits with our people, right? And there is a certain thing what I need to mention here. It's a really selective partnership built to dominate. Why is that? Hey guys, there's 19.5 million land properties in the US owned by 12.5 million people. We're doing a specific deal type that gives us at least $20,000 in profit. So there's just not that many records, right? We're onboarding roughly 8 clients a month and can accept a total of 50 members in the program. And we have like one opening right now, right, until end of February, and then we'll stop it for a month or two because we want to make sure that everyone is taken care of, that our capital stack grows and all that, and we will have a maximum of 50 members in this program, right? And this is not artificial scarcity. That's just like because there's not more land, and the great thing is they don't make more of it, right? And my vision is really to build with you, right? We are building here a group of selected CEOs to dominate this larger parcel markets together and create long-term wealth with the family, for your families, with our families. Like I'm planning next year a big retreat somewhere on a beach, right? I'm not sure if it will be Spain or Mexico where we bring all of that together. Stephen, you're invited too, right? I will make sure you will be there.
Absolutely.
Um, and the only thing we require from you is a 6 months commitment to make this happen, right? Let's talk a little bit ROI because I get that asked a lot, right? We have two tiers we're working with people. There's the light tier and the pro tier, right? And the light tier normally sets you up for an average 1 to 3 contracts a month, right? The minimum deal profit that this is how we run the top funnel data is $20,000. The actual profit average right now on each deal that stays with the partner is $37,000. And when you look on that conservatively, we build like $120,000 to $220,000 pipelines on night. And in 12 months, it could be a $240,000 to $450,000 pipeline. When we take the average in consideration, we're talking more 180,000 to 350,000, or 360 to 650,000. Pro, it's just like, imagine that it's the same engine, we just do more marketing. Because the more marketing we do in our industry, the more conversations we have, guess what? The more money we make, right? This is what it is. So
Absolutely.
the more money we throw at marketing, the more contracts we create, and that's it, right? And we set the people up normally between 2 and 7 contracts a month. And when you look at here, the pipelines are just amazing that are created, right? Like, and when you are patient and source regularly, you will see like amazing ROIs in here. And results really vary by market execution and how you do that, but this is what it is. That was just a little disclaimer of what's possible, right? So the investments are roughly $40,000 to $70,000, and I come to the details a little bit. But look at the break-even zone. Like on Light, we normally have the people break even after 2 deals, right? And in Pro, they break even after 2 or 3 deals normally in 3 to 6 months on that investment, with also having a big back pocket of deals that we have purchased that are sitting in the market that we're looking to sell, right? When we go back to that where we have been before. So now you ask me, how do I get paid, right? Most important question, right? Every deal you choose can be a fast cash deal for you, or you can make a maximum in profit, right? And you can, when you get a contract, you can assign this deal to us and open the purchase of the property and assignment fee, which is anywhere between 5 and 25% of the property value, depending on how well you negotiate that. And that's like when you need fast liquidity back, that's the route you maybe want to go. But almost everyone does is they partner with us on those deals. So we underwrite the deal, fund it, market it, and sell it, and then we just split the profits 50-50, right? Now you understand why I call that a pipeline asset, because like, hey, when we're partner, we need to wait until we get paid. But hey, you make $37,000 right now in average in this program on each deal. Like this is what our partners are producing, right? And everything is possible on a deal per deal basis. Here's some real results, right? And these people you'll meet inside the program, right? They're active clients. Like Nate built in 4 months a $400,000 pipeline, right? He was running a solo operation. He's traveling a lot, right? Like he's right now in Dominican Republic. He was in the time I know him in Germany and Oman, and he was all over the place, right? And he just ran his business from there because it was almost fully managed. He just answered the phone, right? Jean, I know Jean for a long time. She realized, like in her first 3 months, $150,000 in profits. She's a retired lady, right? And had a lot of land investing experience, but hadn't done a deal in 2 years because she didn't do anything, right? And that's a great thing we do in this thing too. Once you work with us, you receive leads no matter if you want to or not to. It forces you into execution with the right task. And that is like really being on the phone, right? And Paul, he came into this. By the way, since yesterday, he's more closer to $220,000 in profits, right? He was just he's a business guy. He runs multiple business, but his land operation stopped producing. And this is how he came to us. Joined Light to rebuild with a real system behind him. And he's now in his 4 months was $220,000 in pipeline profits there. It's the same system, same process, different starting points, but the results are always there. Guys, if you're excited by now, it even gets better, right? When we build that house for you, you own everything and we guarantee the floor, right? So we build the whole system in your LLC. It's not Robin's LLC. We build it, we install it in your LLC. You can run that after 6 months without us if you want to, right? Every territory you work is exclusive, right? Like we don't have data like for 2 people in the same time, right? There's no internal competition. And even if you choose to leave, you can still run the system with you. And when you choose to go into Light, we give you on Light a profit guarantee when you go that commitment. I come to that in a bit. We give you a $35,000 profit guarantee and a Pro a $70,000 profit guarantee, right? Your commitment for that, attend 80% of our coaching calls that we do and respond to 80% of the leads within 15 minutes that you receive, because I know when you do that, you'll make money. Guess what? Right? This is why I guarantee you that. So let's go in the nitty gritty. What does it cost, right? When you really want to install your lifestyle land business and you don't want to spend $1 million in 6 years of work like I did, right? um, then you can do that in two options. There's Light and Pro, right? Like Light is 1 to 3 contracts a month. Pro is 2 to 7 contracts a month. Average profit $37,000, right? Always have that in mind as of today. Um, it's a $5,000 deposit that you lock in your spot that we start building, and then it's 6 monthly payments of $6,000, so 3 monthly payments of $11,000, or just we give a discount when you pay us in full upfront with $30,000 because we don't need to chase you months after months, right? The second thing is on Pro, it's like 6 months of 11,000, 3 months of 21,000, or one-time pay of $60,000, right? We have like two more light spots right now, two more pro slots before we close it, right? So I mean, I want to ask you 6 months from now, who do you want to be, right? Stay where you are or install the system? You still want to do like your own thing, right? Be the operator, pulling this, managing tools and VAs and wondering if the market is saturated and still trading time for maybe money, right? And you're still the bottleneck, or you just want to receive like leads in 10 days. Get your first contract in the next 60 days for something that makes you $37,000, right? Get the first cash events in the next 3 to 6 months, a pipeline that compounds, a business that runs, or a life that's yours again, right? And think about that. It's a really great investment, but I know also it's a really serious commitment, right? Like we're talking about a couple of $10,000, and it's intentionally designed by that because I want to really work with serious operators that really want to build a long-term land business because I'm involved a lot too, right? We are partnering on deals, we're doing deals together, and that's what it really is. So, as the partnership with Launch Control is so beneficial for us and we love working to them, like Steven and the team asked me, what can we make happening for people that can't invest that right now? If you're not ready yet, if you want to test it, if you want to get your feet wet, if you want to really have a structured 3 months runway. We really, really built something specifically for launch control users, right? Where you almost get the same thing. And I want to show you that right now. That's really excited, right? We call it the LAN Autopilot Starter, right? What it does is it gives you launch control as the base, right? Launch control has like the core and the pro plans, and you probably all know that much better than I do. But we include launch leads so you don't run your own text campaigns. I always think this is one of my philosophies. What you don't know, and stay there where you're really good at. You don't want to run text campaigns. They do that every day. They have the best practices. They look on hundreds of clients' results every day, and they're going to give you this best practices, right? Like launch leads is really awesome. We do the whole market selection for you. We give you on Light 20,000 curated records and on Pro 50,000 curated phone numbers. We give you a complete CRM system with all the nurture sequences built out. We can't give you on this price text here the AI powered CRM. It will be a normal CRM, so you will need to have more phone calls. But that's just unfortunately how business is, right? We give you the whole backend comping and structuring, the whole funding coordination, the disposition services, and we're going to set you up for on Light for 1 to 2 seller conversations a day. The target is to make in the next 3 months 3 4 deals together with a minimum profit of $15,000 per deal. And on Pro, we set you up for 2 to 5 seller conversations a day to get you 4 to 8 deals in the next 3 months, right? With $15,000 in minimum profit on HDL. This is how we source the data. And on Light, that your investment would be 10,000, and on Pro it would be 15,000. There's a couple of payment plans available. Why is this so beneficial? Why do you want to do that? What you really don't do here is you buy a complete business system, right? Where you don't need to hire a team, you don't need any VAs, you have my team working for you, right? You don't need to pay launch control directly, which is probably cheaper when you do that, but you run all this other stuff. You need to give them the data, and they reach out and say, "Hey, Robin, I don't have data anymore." Steve and me ran through that a couple of times, right? We can't text
All the
anymore,
time.
all of that, right? But this is where you really want to think about, do you want to outside almost your entire operation and really focus on having seller conversations for deals that are worth it, right? And guess what? I give you a guarantee into this here too. When you decide for Starter Lite or Starter Pro, I give you a ten or $15,000 guarantee when that you'll make your money back when you attend 80% of our coaching calls and respond to 80% of your leads within 15 minutes, right? So, guys, I'm almost at the end, right? Like when you look at this, when you do launch control, you get the whole SMS engine, you get like their backend, they help you, but you don't get the comping support and the structured system, right? On Starter, you have all of this. We give you the CRM, right? We give you a structured 3 months runway. We give you the whole funding and disposition handled, and we give you a text message centered acquisition system with launch control. Right, and you're ready for the full autopilot, and you really want to really get there where you want, and you want to have texting and mail and call calling and this AI powered CRM and all that other stuff, then maybe the full autopilot is for you. So if you want to learn more, guys, reach out to Jessica. She's here on the call. Maybe she can say a couple of things. Her QR code is here. Um, Schedule a call with her. She can walk you through our entire ecosystem. She can explain you the difference between Autopilot Lite and Pro, the full Autopilot, the starter package, and also we have an amazing community on School, right? I think it's Jessica can tell you that probably better than I am, but $27 or something like that. You can get in there. You can be on our calls. You can bring your deals. We can do deals together. We can comp your deals for you. That's a standalone service, right? If you're struggling with that. So say hello to Jessica, and Jessica, just like give us like your kudos on that, what you've heard.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jessica. I've actually known Robin for a few years now. We met in a real estate mastermind, and I know he's an awesome person. So I wanted to help out on his team to make sure that everyone gets the support that they need because he has an incredible offer and so many courses, not only on getting land deals, but even your mindset and how to operate as a land investor, as a business owner. So I highly recommend his courses and his community, and they're just amazing
You
tools
want
in
you want to
place
tell
for
the
your
audience like
success.
what we sell. The courses are amazing. I know I never talk about that because for me it's so natural just to do it. Like they're $100 a pick, I think, right? Like, and they're really, 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 really great because you really learn how to run a land operation in 2026 as a real business, right?
Yeah, so
So.
sorry. What did you want me to talk about I mean, the
That's cool.
courses are
Hey, if you want to
incredible. I
learn
was
more, go
watching
go
them.
with Jessica on a call. This is what you really want to do. Hang out with her. She's cool to talk to. She's super knowledgeable. She knows what we're doing inside out, and she will spend 15, 20 minutes with you to really clarify where you at and how we can help because the land autopilot is one of the things, but like doing deals together, comping deals for you, market selections, we have like three really cool courses that really bring you there where you want to be probably end of the year if you want to build by yourself. So hey, schedule a call with Jess. She can help you out. What's next? And Stephen, like maybe you want to bring us home. How about that?
Absolutely, yeah. So when it comes to launch control, we also expanded quite a lot on our offering as well. So we introduced the in-app dialer, so you'll finally be able to call from the same number that you're texting from, which is something that people have been asking about. Our direct mail integration is also 90% there. So through launch leads, we can already handle it, but very soon you'll be able to do it through launch control. So feel free to scan this QR code, talk to our sales team. They're very great, they're knowledgeable, and you will also just the exclusive for this land week, you have an option to start a 7-day free trial. So go ahead and scan that QR code. Thanks for the chance, Robin.
I love that. Thank you for having me, and thank you for being part of the launch week, Stephen. So that was a bunch of information I think I shared, and I just like gonna close my mouth for now and just gonna open it up for Q&A. And Stephen, is there anything else you want to stack on, like anything you have in questions or whatever?
I just wanted to touch up a little bit on what Launch Lead specifically does
Yeah,
during
let's do
the
that.
or covering under the Land Pilot program. So basically, we will handle the onboarding call for the texting side of things. So we might get some details from you in order to register you with our carriers, as well as create a website for those purposes for you. We will create all the scripts or all the templates, introduce you or your operators into our system to have a real-time feedback loop related to the leads. We'll be pushing any motivated leads directly to the CRM. So basically qualifying them for price, motivation, and timeline mainly. If you have any restrictions related to the condition of the property, of course, we can talk about that in the onboarding call. But that is in a nutshell what Launch Leads is covering for. And then we also make sure that you have enough data to support the volume that you signed up on, so that we're always on top of initial campaigns. We also handle the follow-up for you. So uh, let's say it's a 360 cycle, right? So one question that I see from Mark here is related to who is the data provider for the skip tracing, and do you skip trace DNC for both federal and states? So I guess that might be more of a question for you, Robin, but yeah, feel free to
Yeah,
chime in on
yeah,
any
yeah.
questions.
So, that's a really good one. So, when we started this, we were doing that in-house, right? And then I saw like data is in 2026 one of the most important things, and probably Stephen, you can speak up on that a lot too, right? We are partnering with a data science company on this meanwhile. So the initial data comes from multiple sources. We work with a small boutique skip tracing company. And Stephen, I think you have seen the results they're producing. They're like 10x, or not 10x, but like really 20, 30, 40% better than that, what we have seen before on like using the big skip tracing providers. And the DNC scrubs, I think that you do them, right? The DNC and litigator scrubs in the back end, right? That's inside launch control.
Yes, the majority of it we do through launch control. We are not doing the national DNC list because it needs to go directly through the FTC. But if it's already, a lot of the data providers are already doing that. So when we get a list, it already has a column where, the DNC numbers are indicated up front, and then it goes through our final scrub, that's Blacklist Alliance Litigator scrub, and also any of the internal DNCs on the platform that we saw as a permanent DNC that, let's say, said like, I'm already on the federal DNC, don't disturb me. If they do it once through launch control as a platform, you bet that they will be, scrubbed across the board. So that is the support we offer.
Yeah, and that's what it really is, right? Like you run like millions of records every month, right? So it's like really you know, guys, this is what it always is, right? You can always figure out stuff by yourself, but the more you just outsource to really specialized services like launch leads, right? It costs a couple of $100 more every month, right? But do you want to train a VA? Do you want to have all the knowledge about like DNC scrubs and all that? What you really use here is like by partnering with like bigger companies is you use economies of scale that will make just your results much better, if that makes sense, right? So if I build my business, I never run any mailing campaigns in-house because I hated doing it, right? So I worked with like a company that was doing that, and then we were launch control users too, right? And call calling, and like I always hired people doing that for me, because like your results will be so much better. Does that make sense? So, and then people are always asking me, yeah, but what if I don't have the money? So that's a you problem, right? Because there's so many ways how you can get money in today's world, right? Like there's business funding you can go. We work with a business funding partner, right? Like that helps like enabling people to make this higher investments too. You can work with investors. Hey, when you have a great vision, like you can work with family and friends that borrow you money. You can take out like a little HELOC on your house, whatever it is. Hey, when you don't have enough money to do something, then your position as a CEO is to take care that there is enough money to create the result. But you can't create something out of nothing. When you have nothing, you need to put so much work in there right? That you can create something because that's always the scale we have, right? It's time and money. Like, and the more money we invest, probably the less time, but the more time we invest, the less money we need to invest. But when you have a limited amount of time, you just want to take care. How do I get money out of this when you're still working a W-2, go the way of business credit of financing options to make stuff like this happening, right?
And that's important. Absolutely. Going into it with enough capital to support all that you do and all the operations. I also like that you mentioned a part related to like who wants to train a VA to do all of that work. One thing that we saw helping our, CEOs joining on the platform and on the Lunch Leads program, that's a big help is definitely related to that, right? You hire a person, you train them, you spend how much time training them, you spend a lot of time evaluating if they are good, and then in the end they quit or you're not satisfied, you start all over again, and your business operation suffers for it. So by outsourcing at least a part of the operation to someone who is an expert, even if like your VA is sick for a day, we have someone who is trained on the system, who has been in house with us for years, who can replace your dedicated lead manager in a day or in an hour. So the system is really dialed in. I see the same thing happening with Robin and his team for the disposition, for the underwriting, for data scrubbing. So it is a big part of what makes the business have success. Not putting all the hats on your own head, but actually giving it to someone who can help you with that in a real way. Thank you,
Yeah,
Robin.
that's
That
that,
that's
that.
been
I appreciate you for bringing that up, Steve. And that's like the pure reality, right? Talking to a bunch of operators always here is like I can just hire a VA for that. Okay, but what does that mean? You hire somebody for $6 an hour that's in a country half around the world, and you now think for $6 an hour you get a rocket scientist that runs your business for you. That can happen over time, but you need to train these people. You need to define SOPs and all that, right? The training of people, it's not just hiring brings you somewhere. Like what you really need to have in mind is that you get like engaging with launch leads, engaging with the Land Autopilot, completely trained SOP teams that do the job for you. You don't need to build that by yourself, right? Like, and I always stay in the texting space, like, hey, launch lead managers do that every single day, if that makes sense, right? They know it. They get trained with by people that look on millions of text records every month and see what's working, what's not working. So who do you want to bet on? Your $6 VA that you hire in the Philippines and train as the train up like with the little bit of knowledge that you might have about this, or like a professional team that gets trained every day to do that stuff they're recruited for. I just was before this call almost my head of deals, right? Holly, like Holly is running our comms team, our transactional coordination team, and our underwriting team. Like when you see like how much training that is, how much knowledge that is, she is an industry professional with 14 years of experience. She has seen hundreds of transactions. She knows where to look into, right? And this is like when you outsource things, like I think one of the major things you always want to have in mind is what it's not only how much leads do I get, it's also what how much experience do I get like out of this, what I buy there, if that makes sense.
Yep, absolutely does. And Mark raised a topic here, I guess. That is a maybe topic for another webinar on its own. But AI is going to replace VAs is the statement that he made. Is there any comment that you have on that, Robin?
So AI will take over the world, right? Like in the next couple of years, in whatever capacity. I don't want to get into that, but it will change the way business is done and it already does today, right? Like, um, from we have the AI appointment setters and the not appointment setters, but the AI lead qualification insight the land autopilot program. Like before that, you needed to have lead managers that were maybe in the Philippines, that were maybe in India, Egypt, wherever you are, South America, that you needed to train, and they were just there in business hours. That AI just like replaced that complete position and is doing that for you now 24/7 with never being sick, never having a family, a computer breaking down, or screwing you, right? Like screwing you over in some way, right? Um, AI will impact a lot of the manual tasks that you're doing, right? Like when I raise money for deals, I create this pitch deck. I did that manually. Today, I just take a prompt, throw it in AI, and say, research me everything about that area, do everything this, and it's a task that took me an hour before it takes me now 3 minutes, and that happens along the process. And you know, the question is, that's like another game you need to stay on top of as an operator, right? Because there will come a lot of the solutions, like when you scrub lists, build lists together today and all that, right? When you research markets, like, hey man, you can do that manually in a spreadsheet, or you use AI tools like, I don't know, Land Insights or the Land Portal or whatever, right? Like that help you running that data, and suddenly you have a competitive advantage. So, in the very end, like AI will is the biggest threat and the biggest opportunity in this business, right? And even there, like again, going back in these partnerships, do you think that launch control will integrate AI as much as they can in their business operation to your benefit, to stay competitive in their market? Now imagine you do that by yourself. Will you have the same ability as launch control? Yeah, of course you want to probably give them like the $500-600 more a month because they will stay on top of it for you. Same on the autopilot. Do you think we will not integrate AI as much as we can into that operation for you, run the trial and errors and developments on that, that we have a competitive advantage to other things, right? Like, yes, of course we'll do, right? And this is always when you switch from I'm an investor to I really become like a CEO and owner of a company. This is a mindset shift where you really need to think about like, hey, um, um, does that make a difference long term in here? And it surely does, right? So yeah, I think they will replace VAs, they will replace entire things in the process, outreach, nurturing, and all that. It still does. And Land AI, the Land AI CRM we have, was our partner Land AI. We're working on that. They have an amazing tech stack. This AI does the follow-ups, it does outbound calls and all. It's just like amazing, if that makes sense, right? And to Glenn's question, difference between CRM and AI CRM. I mean, a CRM system, like what it really does, it's a customer relationship management system. So it manages all the customer relations you build over time through your lead generation and all your buyer stuff too, ideally, right? And then there's two ways of running that, right? Like because customer relationship management functions over conversations to have, right? And they can happen manually, or they can in 2026 happen through AI too, right? Like simple call follow-up conversations. Because when you process thousands and 10 thousands of records, like you need to hire somebody doing it, right? Set up automations in your system doing that, right? And when you have an AI agent, he can have this conversation. And when you have a partner like the Autopilot, they will have all of that built out for you. You don't need to think about it by yourself. And guys, that's like a huge development job, right? And I was a little bit into the question, what's the best CRM? It's like there is no best CRM. No matter if you do Pebble or Infusionsoft, or I don't know, go ahead, whatever you want to do is the right solution for you. The more important thing is, how do I think about a CRM? How do I build it out? Like, what does it need to do? It needs to nurture clients long term, right? And help you like also like short term to get contracts signed. And like in our school community is a really great course, like where really share like how do we build out our CRMs, what's the thinking behind that, because that's the true core thing, right, about it. It's like, how do I think a CRM system needs to be built, right? And yeah, maybe that answers the question.
Absolutely does. Get me on that course. I like that
Yeah.
thinking. Yeah, either way,
Jess, let's get Steve an invite too, right? Like that he can check it out, right?
Absolutely.
Great. Do we have any more questions? I think we have a minute left. Hey, we're good on time, right, Stephen? We're really
Pretty
good on
good, yeah.
time today.
Efficient.
Efficient.
That's what we'd
So it
expect
is.
from Germans, right?
Yeah.
Time
Oh my God.
efficiency.
We're punctual. Like I'm probably the most unpunctual German you'll ever meet, but like, yeah, we try to always be on top and punctual on things, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, if there are any final questions, feel free to post them here. Anything you want to know, we'll tackle it either for the launch leads or Land Pilot, but we have a few more minutes if anyone's interested.
Absolutely.
And thank you all for staying until the end. I noticed that's a trend with our recent webinars that regardless of when you join, you stay until the end. So I hope that you found some value with this and you know that this will actually benefit you as a business owner or just operator looking to transition into something bigger, into getting more freedom for yourselves. First financial freedom, but also overall freedom with your time and what you do. I really like the analogy you had with, like, watching your kid go to practice and then missing it out because you're the operator. One thing I guess that we could highlight as well that I would not want anyone to forget is just how important speed to lead is. Even if you're gonna act as the main CEO, that's the part you can't overlook, regardless of how important you are. And yeah, being a part of the community as well. Something that often gets overlooked. People, like to take it solo. Find a community for yourself. I really enjoyed the way Robin does it because basically it's like a room of investors and they all talk through deals, and it's like very specific and very personalized to the point of, like, I don't see how you'd be able to take it further. Even if you just take launch leads for your SMS campaigns, we like to take the same approach, but then the other piece of the pie depends on you. So that's one thing where Robin and his team are really making a difference. So I guess if there are no more questions, we'll leave it at
Let me
that.
let me stack on that. Hey, this is an
Go ahead.
invitation, right? Come join our community, right? We run all these calls inside there. If you're sitting on a deal right now, right, you're about to lose a contract, come talk with Jessica. She will guide you in the right direction, right? Like maybe we can drop her link here in the chat, right? She can guide you in the right direction. But we also, it's not only the autopilot. Hey, our DNA is we want to do deals with you, and we help you getting them under contract for the right price, structuring them right, evaluating them right. When you're sitting on a deal that you don't know, like, hey, is it this worse or that? Bring it in our comms service. Come to our comms calls. That's all included. I think for $27, and we also already give you the first seven days for free that you can just learn to know us, right? How do we think? How do we do things? Just come over there, right? We have launch control people there. We have people from other things because you'll need proximity to other investors. You're the people you surround yourself with, is what they say, and that's so true, right? So you want to be like in a network of investors that really think the way you think, that have the same vision and goals that you have. So yeah, that's an open invitation. I speak out here. So appreciate you for bringing that up. And Stephen, thank you so much for having me when you came out with Marco and your team a couple of weeks ago. I was really excited for this. I
Me
still
too.
am, and I hope we will do a bunch of deals together, guys. Whoever was watching this or is watching this, because this is what we really sign up for, doing deals together, right?
Pleasure having you, Robin, and really looking forward to the future years as well, and looking forward to having you on a panel again. Just incredible being working with you and your team. So anything that we're looking forward to, we're looking at it together. So thank you for taking the time and introducing the program to our launch community. That wraps it up, I guess, for this Land Week. We're looking forward to seeing you in some of the future masterminds and other webinars we're gonna host, but also to our next year's Land Week.
I love it. Thank you so much, Stephen. Bye bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good weekend.